Tight supplies and strong demand have pushed beef prices and producer profitability to historic highs. After peaking in 2025, CattleFax analyst Kevin Good was forecasting late last year that prices will see a modest correction in 2026, while fundamentals did remain strong. But is that still the case? Michelle caught up with Good during Cattle Convention in Nashville this week.
What's the outlook for cattle prices in 2026? Kevin Good with CattleFax is joining us to visit about that. Well, we had a record-setting year for cattle prices in 2025, and now, Kevin, we have this tailwind of a slightly smaller overall herd, 75-year low. How much of a tailwind will that be for 26?
Yeah, absolutely. If we just think about where we're starting this year, we've got a cattle on feed number that's down close to 500,000 head. And so we've got the smallest calf crop last year we've had in 70 plus years. So if you just think about the supply side, it should continue to be very favorable. We think about the demand side, beef demand's at a 40-year high. And even though we're at a price point where we're a little bit concerned that we might have some consumer pushback, so far the data says that they're tying into us. So supply still tight, demand still very strong. Should be a very good year in 26 for cattle prices.
No signs of heifer retention yet or not?
Very small. If you look at the data, it said 42,000 head more bred beef females starting Jan 1, which is very small.
The other, or another black swan, obviously, could be, we have the Lexington plant closed. Could there be another plant closure in 26?
I think it's going to be a challenging year for the packing community, just like it was last year. If you just think about the imbalance, there's more shackle space than cattle. Last year on average is about 7,000 a day, 2 minutes shackle space. Today it's about 4,000 to 5,000 a day. So even though it's narrowed the gap, leverage should continue to favor the cattle feeder. If the border doesn't reopen anytime soon, I think the likelihood of some more closures in the packing community is real.
So you release the 2026 outlook for CattleFax here at CattleCon.
Yeah.
Talk about fed steers, first of all, where are you at?
If you just think about where we've been in the rearview mirror, you go back from where we're at today all the way back to last May, we've averaged about 235 plus or minus. Are the fundamentals different today? No, they're really not. Supplies are still as tight, demand's still strong, so at least for the foreseeable future, 220 to 240, maybe we can go challenge the highs that we put in last year, maybe we take them out a little bit. The highs last year were 243, 244, a couple weeks on US average. We're probably poised to test that. Now, if you want to take that longer term, it really does come on to what takes place from Mexico. If Mexico reopens the first half of this year, the market will roll over in the second half and will trend lower. If it's not open, the market probably stays pretty stout all the way through next year.
What about feeder cattle?
Feeder cattle, obviously today, if we looked at the CME index trading on top of 370, at record high prices. I think a thing to think there, we've got a cattle feeder that's making money and has made a lot of money the last 12 months. You've got the border still closed. Whenever that reopens, and also as we go to the second half of this year, our break-evens are going to be at 250 to 260 coming out of the feed yards. We start to see some losses, in our opinion at least. That combination probably rolls the feeders over, and they'll trend lower as you go through the year.
Well, hopefully that will still keep prices good for a while.
Demand is stout enough that hopefully it will, even though we've got to remember where we're at. The long-term trend or the 5-year trend, just because of the cycle, is going to be soft.
All right, thanks so much, Kevin. Appreciate your time. That is Kevin Good with CattleFax.
Thanks, Michelle. We'll get much more into prices as well as the dynamic demand that's taking shape in the cattle industry. We'll do that in our marketing roundtables in the second half of the show. Well, drought continues to be part of the equation in the timing of rebuilding this small cattle herd. Brian Bledsoe joins us for a check of weather coming up next.